Welcome to the Untold Tales audio anthologies. Written by Dr. Jeffrey A. Robinson and narrated by Melissa Del Toro Schaffner. The End. The end of the universe came as expected, and at the appointed time. It was long anticipated, but no less climactic for its predictability. Those who had witnessed the beginning were assembled once more to see the end. Everyone waited silently as the final act proceeded to its inevitable and inexorable conclusion. Symmetry demanded that the universe finish as it started. What began as a big bang now concluded in a big crunch. All the matter and energy that had been dispersed in that first spectacular moment now returned to collapse into a new singularity in celebration of the universe's passing. The once bright heavens had long since dimmed as the last of the stars burned out and collapsed into the galactic-sized black holes. These final behemoths, gravity wells of infinite and insatiable appetite, were slowly fed by the remaining burnt husks of older stars until they grew even larger. Even in death, however, these last few dark stars flared in final glorious rebellion as the gravitational tidal forces ripped their cores into thin, whispery bands of luminous matter that spiraled into these giant stellar dungeons from which there would be no escape. The passing of these magnificent remnants was marked with flares more intense than 1,000 supernovas as they crossed the event horizons of these last vaults of matter. As those assembled watched, 10,000 gravity wells, each the mass of 1,000 galaxies, converged and joined in an infinitely complex dance. These inconceivably massive objects danced and weaved in crisscrossing spirals of light. Space warped and bent. Light curved back along relativistic geodesics and fought to evade the inescapable forces of the terminal universal singularity. Event horizons merged, and space buckled, folded, tore, and ruptured wherever they met. Gravity waves of unimaginable magnitude broke in foam on the cliffs of space. Energies not seen since creation seethed, and matter was created spontaneously from the void. Yet, so massive was the final singularity that these feeble creations were quickly drawn deep into the safe and eternal keeping of its last embrace. So quickly were these tiny fragments of matter pulled in that creation played itself in reverse. Atoms were torn into individual subatomic particles, which were in turn shredded into component quarks. The final singularity blazed in light of frequencies not seen since the first act, and then this light too curled back and disappeared into the bottomless pit of the last place. In a moment, so short that time itself did not mark its passing, it was over. Everything that had ever been, all matter and all energy, had returned to where it had all begun. The ultimate singularity collapsed upon itself, and with no force in the universe greater than itself, there was nothing to stop it. In an infinitely short time, it became infinitely small, and then there was nothing at all. Only darkness remained, infinitely deep and blacker than the mere absence of light. The blackness was the complete absence of anything at all. Space flattened and grew as still as a pond on a windless day. Nothing marked its surface. No matter or light remained to mar it. Space was perfect, endless, infinite, and empty. With breathless anticipation, everyone waited to see what would happen next. Everyone knew, however, that nothing could surpass that spectacular finale. Still, they all waited. Without any matter or energy to measure the passing of time, these moments were both brief and eternal. Finally, a new pattern began to manifest itself. Space stretched as if drawn tight, and the underlying structure beyond the void became plain to see. Like a watermark on the fabric of space, symbols appeared. Someone gasped. Another started a spontaneous accolade, and a ripple of applause emerged from those assembled. The symbols were universal, and as inevitable and expected as the conclusion itself. They said, "Please stand by for another full-length feature presentation." Thank you for listening. We love our listeners, fans, and patrons. If you loved what you heard, please like and subscribe to our audio anthology, and consider visiting our Patreon site at www.patreon.com/Melissa Del Toro voiceover. If you'd like to read more of the stories in the Untold Tales series, not narrated here on our podcast, you can find Jeff's books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. The links for all of this information are conveniently listed in this episode's show notes. Thank you and have a wonderful day.